These functions are kind of so simple that here's example 2 and the last example of not only the lesson, but actually of the module. So example 2 says, suppose that the size of a population of an island is given by P of T, which P of T is in thousands of people, where T is the number of years after 1988. So first we're going to graph this function. And here is my X min. Here is my X max. And then again, because we have our X min and max, but no information on the Y, we'll go zoom 0. So clear out anything. Alpha Y equals, putting this in as an N over D. So we have 998 on top, and then put the bottom on the bottom. And again, instead of T, we're doing X. Oh, I accidentally hit graph. I don't want to hit graph. Gotta wait for it to stop thinking. Okay, so I'm going to go into my window. I'm going to change this from 0 to 30 and then hit zoom 0. Here is my graph. So part B wants to know, what is the population of the island in 1988? So my T represents my number of years after 1988. So here I'm wanting to know when my X equals 0. And because we have our graph, we will either use trace or the table, whatever your preference is. So if I go trace 0, we get 19.6. Now remember, my population is in thousands of people. So we have 19.6 thousand. Or we kind of need to get familiar with going between this like 19.6 thousand and representing that just in standard form. So if I take this 19.6 and times it by 1,000, since this is in thousands, we get this number here. So this is or 19,600 people. And another way is if this is 1,000, 1,000 has 3 zeros, so you're going to move this 1, 2, 3 times. So find and interpret P of 10. So back to my graph. This represents, I guess, my T. We put X here, but those mean the same thing. This represents my T, so I'm going to use trace again. So trace 10, enter. And we get what? So trace 10, enter. I'm going to go to 3 decimals. So that is 39.652. So we have found P of 10, but now we need to interpret, what does this mean? So if my T or my X is 10, T is the number of years after 1988. So we're in 1998. Okay, what does this number here represent? What's my Y represent? Thousands of people. So if we do the same thing as we did last time, move that over 3 times. In 1998, the population was 39,652 people. So that's the interpretation. Part D, use graphical or numerical methods definitely not numerical here. So we're going to be using graphs. To find the year which the population reached 70,000 people, we're going to round up to the nearest year. Okay, so now I'm needing to do this essentially backwards. If I am starting here, because this is already being represented by thousands of people, I need to take my decimal and now move it. So you can either, instead of multiplying by 1,000, take your 70,000 and divide by 1,000, or move your decimal 3 times the other way. So now in my Y2, we will put 70, and now I need to find the intersection. Okay, so in my Y2, we got 70. Let's hit graph and hopefully we see that intersection. So now I'm going to go to calc, number 5, enter, enter, enter. And we get 23.03. Okay, that 5, we'll make that go up. And because here we are rounding up, it does not matter that this is very close to 23. We're rounding up. This is 24. So if my X or my T represents the years after 1988, what is 1988 plus 24? We are in 2012. Okay, and then lastly, what appears to be the upper limit for the size of this population? Again, upper limit is the same as this limiting value, and it all comes back to this top number, that's C. So my C here is 98, and this is in thousands of people. So my upper limit, or my C, is 98,000 people. The island could not hold more than that people. Give them fresh water and food and places to live. This is as many people that can live on that island.